And shit, you can receive Big Show's height on the fucking platform.
Yeah, so you can use this for the podcast I'm driving myself. I don't need them.
That was good.
Nah, I'm good too. Yeah, bro.
That's cool, man.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to the house of David, which is the elect. All right, we're coming out here once again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, to prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great, right? Chanting down Babylon. I actually give me the definition of chanting. I looked it up a couple of days ago, and that's what the prophets are doing, man. They're singing this song, okay, to wake up the elect, so that they are prepared for the return of our Lord. And our job is to do what? Is to say before the things that are coming upon this earth, man. You see, and the Lord is making good on his promise, right? That he said he was going to do. Actually, also hold me Psalms 18 and 30. All right, because the Heavenly Father's word is pure, man. And whatever he says is going to happen. And that's why we come out here, with the with the boldness to speak the word of the Lord, because hey, you can't disannul the word of the Lord. You can't go against it. You see, and we're at the time where, as as brothers that has been paying attention, the sisters, everything the Lord said he was going to do is happening, man. And therefore, we know that the kingdom is nigh at hand. That's why Yahweh Shai said, when you start to see these things come to pass, to look up for your redemption draweth nigh. So you got that definition?
I got chant. So we have, it's funny, it says Khan here, but it says for the late 14th century, it means to sing, celebrate, to sing, basically to sing, celebrate. This is an etymology. It said to sing as in the church service.
There you go. So to sing, get the actual regular definition. But hey, the singing, we're singing this song, and the scriptures talks about that the 144,000. Brother can get that too. Revelation had a song that no man could learn except the 144,000. You see, that's what is the governing body of the kingdom to come, because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Just like during the time of Jericho, where the Lord had us, circle the city of Jericho, and you had the priest, you had the trumpets playing, and then after that certain time, what is it, 7 days? After the seventh day, the walls came down, and they didn't have to actually do anything physically. All they had to do was just what? Sing that song, chant down the wall of Jericho, and that's what we're doing in to Babylon the Great.
So it says basically to say or shout repeatedly in the sing-song tone.
Yep, to say or shout repeatedly. And there you got people that would say, "Oh, y'all say the same thing," and that's true. And you got the men of the Lord throughout the four corners of the earth all saying the same thing, right? That comes from different walks and backgrounds in different areas. They're saying it in different languages, but they're all saying the same thing. You got to
done real quick. Also, when we do holy days, and we always and to encourage you brothers out there, the scriptures tell you to chant down Babylon. Do the curses when you do your prayers. Do the curses. Curse this place.
Yep. Hey, the scripture says that the effectual, fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. Hey, we're the only ones through the Spirit, that the Lord is hearing, because you got these other people out in the world that are praying, for peace, praying for things to get better, praying for America's success, and those prayers are null and void, man. They're really praying against the will of the Lord. See, the Lord got the Spirit upon his elect, the hopeful elect, to actually pray for the things that are for the will of the Lord. And those things we are seeing are actually coming to pass. The end is manifesting. So read that
real quick. Yeah. Oh, so it says, it says, what does it mean to be chanting? It says to repeat or sing a word or phrase continuously. That's what it means to be chanting.
Yep. To repeat or say a word continuously. And we are saying the word or phrase, right? Which is the gospel. Okay? The gospel is the same thing. We're staying true to the word that we heard from the beginning, man. we haven't changed it up. Like you have some people that have changed up what is the mark of the beast, right? They changed up different doctrines. And the scripture says that in the latter days that was going to happen. They was going to give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. But the true gospel, the true lyrics, you don't change. You know, it's the same. When you listen to your favorite song, you can listen to it over and over. It's going to be the same song. And that's what this is, you know, for the nation of Israel. For the elect, really. It's the same record. Got it?
Okay, so the definition, it says say or shout repeatedly in a sing-song tone.
Hey, the Lord said, what? To cry aloud, spare not. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion. Right? And what are we singing? That the parting asunder at times is here, man. Which even people that are outside of the truth, they actually even see that the way that society is set up now is shifting. The whole global structure is moving, right? This is moving from America being dominant, you know, America just doing whatever they want to do on a geopolitical scale or the geoeconomic, you know, scale, and things are now shifting to everybody wants, you know, a piece of the world stage. So Esau's, we're truly at the end of Esau, specifically Babylon's reign, but the scriptures entails that after Esau doesn't come the Moabites, it doesn't come, you know, the BRICS nations, right? It doesn't come the Medes, the Russia. After Esau is Jacob, and that's it. And that's what the people, that's what the world is not even looking for, man. That's why it says that their salvation so far beyond all that we have looked for, because nobody is expecting the men that you see on the corners, right, in various cities throughout the earth, them to be the next rulers of the earth, man. Because everybody's looking at the next rulers. You got to have billions of dollars. You got to have a market, right? Trade market. You got to have goods, services. You got to have a military. See, that's what Trump said. You know, in order to take down the government, you need nuclear bombs. You need F-16s. But we don't got none of that. But how is it that we're going to be the ones that get the kingdom to come? Because we got the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And the Lord's coming with his army. You see? Got it? You get that.
Revelation or something.
Get Revelation first. You have Revelation? Oh, okay. You get Revelation first, and then you get Psalm.
It's on 14.
Yeah. Yep.
Revelation 14, verse 3.
Actually, start at the top.
Revelation 14 and 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him and 144,000, having his father's name written on their forehead.
Yep. Hey, that's another thing, man. The elect are going to praise his holy name. The elect are going to keep the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai at the forefront of this. That's the main lyric in the song. You know, you got Jake. They big up themselves in their raps, you know, in their lyrics. They big up their names. But you got the elect that are bigging up the names of our power, man. Because the Lord said that his name, at the end of the day, it says his name is going to be made known. That's why he raised up Pharaoh, and that's why he raised up Esau, so that his name can be magnified on the earth.
Yeah, to add to your point, what you said made me think of any good song that always has a good chorus. And the chorus is repeated over and over again. You have the verses in between, and it might say whatever, but the chorus is what catches people.
Okay.
So that's the names of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That's what keeps getting repeated throughout the scriptures. You see Lord in all caps, that's the name of Yahweh. And it's all about Yahweh and Yahushai.
Yep. Yep. Hey, the Lord said he raised up his son, and his name is going to be exalted above every other name. See? We always talk about how, you know, Jake, now they got that phrase, I'm him. Well, Yahushai is about to show you who really is him. Because everybody can't be him. Right? You can't have 50 different hymns. There's only one hymn. And it's funny, the word hymn, H-Y-M, the song. You know? There's only one, and that's the doctrine. There's only one spirit, one Lord, one doctrine. There's not, oh, you got your doctrine, you got your song, and I got my song, and we can mix our. Nah, it's gonna throw off the whole beat. It's gonna, you can't be mixing, man. Right? This ain't a remix to the word of the Lord. Got it.
Revelation 14 and 2. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. Woo! And they sung as it were a new song before the throne.
Hey, see this? Hey, this song that we're singing is a nice sweet melody, man. Harping. I ain't never even heard of harping in real time, man. But I know, hearing it on YouTube, harps that's a beautiful instrument, man. It has actually healing. I remember looking at it. Harps. There's like something called harp therapy, and it actually can help your body heal. Music is therapeutic. It actually works. I think it's for your mind actually. Harp music is actually it helps your mind at ease, and that's what you had with King David when you had Saul. What did Saul do? You played the harp, and it would do what? Right? It would exercise the demon that was off of Saul, and they actually sought out somebody that was skilled in the harp. You see, so this word that we're preaching, it's actually exercising for the elect, right? It's giving us mental peace, man. While everybody else in the world, as you see, is chaotic, they unstable, they confused, their minds all cluttered and clouded, and I don't know what's going on. That's because they're not listening to this song. You can be at a place, and that's why even though if you have, you travel, whatever, a lot of people wear headphones because you'll be traveling or you'll be on the train, everything's chaotic around you. But if you got like a nice song or something that you like listening to, then you'll be at peace. And for us, for me, I say personally, a lot of the times I just listen to brothers' videos. Of course you listen to music too, but a lot of times you listen to the actual song because it's spiritual. It's a spiritual, gives you spiritual peace. And that's what this world doesn't have. That's why Yahweh Shah said, in this world you should have tribulation, but in him he's going to leave you peace, man. He's going to give you peace. And we can clearly see that people are in a troubled state, man. Right? They're in a troubled state, and there's only one melody that can put them at peace, put them at rest.
Just for the harp. Remember, Jagged Edge had a song, "Walk Out of Heaven." Remember, the main instrument of the song was harp.
His heart? So brother can look that up with the harp therapy.
And the joint that I believe that coming to America when he was getting babes, I think that was a harp too. Getting coming to America with Snooping.
Yeah. Brother be using that like for his videos a lot.
Yeah.
And he was like, But hey, so run that back again. And whoever got the harp therapy, pull it out.
Revelation 14:3. And they sung it as it were a new song before the throne, before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144.
No, so like you run the harp part again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Verse 2. Revelation 14:2. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps.
Yep. So I've heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. See? And it said those voices that was harping, it said what? And they sung a new song. So that melody, that song that we're singing is that sacrifice that's going up into the heavens, man. And it's funny because the angels are giving us the lyrics, and then we're bringing it back up to the heavens. And that song is a sweet savor to, and that sacrifice is a sweet savor to the Lord, man.
It's like
that's the spiritual recycling, man. Okay, and what is it doing? It's causing this whole place to shift, man. We're actually, through the Spirit of the Lord, through the word of the power of the Lord, we're causing this place to crumble, man. Chancing down Babylon. And it's in a unison. That's why the Lord said, Scripture says, to be of one mind, one accord. It's like you can't go do karaoke, and then you're doing karaoke with that's a duet, and you just singing a whole other song. Like, are you gonna fuck it up? So you gotta be with brothers that are on the same accord. What you got?
I just want to point something out to you.
Did you pull up the
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Pull that out, please.
Harp therapy is a broad term for therapies that use the harp to support emotional, physical, mental, or spiritual healing.
There you go. That's it.
This one a little bit more.
Okay, go ahead.
It can range from active participation, like taking harp lessons, to passively listening to live harp music. Bedside harp therapy involves a harpist playing for the recipient in their location, offering comfort and emotional release.
Yep. And I think they said one of the one of the symptoms, one of the diseases
Benefits.
that it helps is bipolar. And when you go into basically what Saul had, right? They basically said, you know, Saul had an evil spirit, but his evil spirit that was plaguing him was basically bipolarism, because he would be cool at one minute, and then the next minute he just wanted to try to kill David. So that's why when you played the harp, you know, it settled him down. But see, now what they do, they give you drugs, right? They give you witchcraft for these mental illnesses, which is nothing but demons. See what this guy talking about. You know, it's nothing but demons, really. That is plaguing them. But at the end of the day, man, this is the song that we're singing for the elect, and it's easing the minds of the elect. Okay, you got it.
Verse 3. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth.
So no man can learn that song but the 144,000. So when you got people saying that the 144,000, you know, don't matter, well, they're the only ones that can learn the song. And if that song is necessary, it's needful to be heard, so that the elect can be redeemed, that means that these individuals will have to be alive on the earth, man. It is not so some spiritual number. No, it tells you in Revelation the 7th chapter that it's what, 12,000 from each tribe, the sons of Israel. Right? When you go into the word children, it says sons. So 12,000 from each tribe of the nation of Israel. Those are the ones that's going to have that song, and nobody else can learn it. You're not going to have a Moabite. Now you have an Israelite that may look like a Moabite, but at the end of the day, it's just the spirit. Because this is a spiritual song. No man can learn it. But everybody got the scripts, right? Everybody has back in the day, you get the CD, you have like the lyrics in the back. Everybody has the lyrics, but you can't learn the song. It's like listening to, I remember growing up, I could never get with Bone Thugs and Harmony because I couldn't, it was too fast. Like, yo, what the fuck are they saying? You hear it, but you can't understand it. And that's what the Lord said about the ones that are not a part of the elect. Hearing, they were here, but not understand. Actually, the brother can pull that up too. A little bit more than that, is that it? Yeah.
All right, 3 seconds.
You got it.
Psalms 119 and 54. Thy statutes have been my songs in the house of my pilgrimage.
You got it.
Yeah, the statutes, the scriptures, essentially, the laws, statutes, and commandments, which goes beyond just the laws, it's the whole book. Those have been our song. That's what's uplifting us. You know, like you said, Bone Thugs and Harmony, you couldn't understand it. They said the same thing about Twister when he first came out. It's like, yo, he's too fast. This shit ain't gonna hit. Then that ended up being the style now. Everybody's rapping fast. But they had to catch up a little bit. But point being, the statutes, you know, this word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is our song in the house of our pilgrimage, which a pilgrimage is what? A journey, a voyage. You see, so we're in a faraway land, but what's keeping us locked in with the Lord is this song, the new song.
Yep. Hey, and the Lord said in the latter days that the daughters of music was going to be brought low. So you can clearly see that now, how the actual music of this world is deteriorating, right? It's a quick deterioration. But what is standing firm? What is actually growing? It says you that the house of David was going to wax stronger and stronger, because the black culture in the rap music, all that has done is just produce death to our people. It's not a healing medicine. It's actually detrimental. But going back to Revelation, where it says that the 144 only they could learn this song, man, and they were doing what was going to happen, that they were going to be redeemed from the earth, being the first fruits of the Most High. So singing this song, doing what we're doing, it has a great reward, great benefit to it. Okay. Yep. Hello, bro. How about you, Miss Yep, being redeemed. So yeah, man. Going back to the point, the song that we're singing is it's not just something that is vain. It's not a vain song, man. Once again, this is something that is being heard, being orchestrated from the heavens. Okay, for the purpose of what? Ushering in the kingdom of heaven, man. Ushering in Yahushua. You know, it's like a opening act. You know, you go to a concert and you got the openers, and then you get the main event comes,
Headliner.
huh?
Headliner.
The headliner, right? Because when you go into the scriptures, when Yahushua come, it's going to be music playing, man, in the heavens though. It's going to be trumpets sounding. You're gonna have the thunder's gonna be the bass. You're gonna have the lightning. All of that is all sound, man.
Pyro. Is that shit called concert? Pyro.
Technics.
Pyrotechnics. Yeah, yep.
Special effects.
Oh, yeah. Because that's what they do at the concert. You got the fire effects. Or the Lord gonna have all that, man. The earth is gonna be his stage. The earth is gonna be his stage, man. Yep.
Colossians 3:16. Let the word of Hamashiach dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord.
Yep. All right, you
The
got
word of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, let it dwell in you richly. And that's the new song that's being sung. And let's not forget the Song of Moses is going to be sung. Exodus, in the first Passover, there was a Song of Moses. And now we're going to have another Song of Triumph over Pharaoh and Egypt and this whole beast system. You know, so we're going to triumph over the beast and its image and the MOTB, Lord's will, or of that number.
Right.
But it all starts with this new song and calling on the names of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and declaring prophecy.
Yep. Because the prophet, once again, the prophesying is something that is repetitive, man. But to the elect, it's a sweet savor. You know, to the elect, it's like, yo, you can't get enough of this song.
Another one, brother.
And hey, the songs. When you read the songs, these brothers, you know, always, man, you're always going in the book of Psalms. The whole scriptures really is one big lyric, one big song. Got it.
Psalms 18:30. As for Yahweh, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him.
Yep. So it said, so the word of the Lord is tried. And when you go into the history of Israel, our history, you see that, hey, whatever the Lord said, it always manifested. It always went down. You know, that's why the scripture says, you know, ask your fathers and they should tell you. Okay, brother, get Psalm 44, start at the top. But the word of the Lord is tried, man. So we see what the Lord did during the different various captivities, the different deliverances that we, you know, was delivered out of. And now that's why it says in the book of was that the rock, that look at the generations of old. When have they that trusted on the Lord, you know, basically was confounded? It hasn't happened, man. You got it.
Psalm 44 and 1. To the chief musician for the sons of Korah, Mashah.
See, so the musicians. These were songs. These were spiritual hymns that were being sung. And they were also prophecies. Go ahead.
We have heard with our ears, O God, our fathers have told us, what work thou didst in their days, in the times of old.
Yep, and that's why we have the scriptures right now. As the scripture says, search out the things written aforetime was written for our learning. That through what? Patience and comfort of the scriptures, you may have hope. So you have the scriptures, you have the lyrics that comfort you, that gives you that sound mind. As we was going into the heart therapy, it gives you a piece of soundness when everything around you is chaotic and loud, right? When everything is too much, it's unstable. We have the scriptures that what comforts us, man, gives us okay, you know, this everything around us is wild, but hey, we're good. Go ahead.
How didst, verse 2, how thou didst drive out the heathen with thy hand, and plantedest them, how didst afflict the people and cast them out. For they got no
for they got not the land in possession by their own sword, neither did their own arm save them.
Yep. See? Who was the main lyric? Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. They didn't do this on the court, man. And that's what these heathens in the ancient times, they knew that, man.
Oh,
Because the things that Israel was doing, you had to have a power to do those things. Going back to Psalms 18, where David was talking about, through that power, I leaped over a wall. You know, that's something that is literally being done. I remember before, I used to think, like, was this like you was talking about how mighty he was able to do, but now the Lord he was able actually to do these things. Now you got to think about that on a carnal level. You see, and this is why he was able to subdue the nations, because it wasn't as if Israel was just had a massive army compared to the other nations. The Lord said he chose us because we were the smallest. But what did he do? The Lord used Israel and through David, the house, King David, and the house of David, to actually have astronomical feats, man, to be able to do things that was far superior than their adversaries. So you see David coming through one, and then all of a sudden you jump. That's why they say that the Hulk was mimicked after King David, because that's what the Hulk would do, right? He would run and he'll jump and then he'll leap. He could jump over, and those walls back in the ancient world were tall, man. So you just have David just come through, hop over a wall, which the city walls were your defense. So if you and it would take a long time without that type of power to actually break through those walls. But if you just had the king was able to just hop over the shit and then just start wilding and open the gate from the other side, everybody else come through. You got the mighty men. That's how he was subduing the nations. Lord, he would pray to the Lord, hey, you have to go there. Yeah, I'm gonna be with you. Let's go. Like, I know I'm gonna get the power. Look what Samson did, man. He didn't have a sword, a spear. He had a jawbone of an ass. Wiped out 1,000 Philistines.
Carry the gates.
What happened?
You just carry the gates with him.
Yeah. See? Light work, man. But that's why it says, like, our forefathers told us of these things, man. And that's the power the Lord said that, hey, we want to get that now and then some, because we're gonna need it. You got these AI robots, right? These cyborgs, they got actual guns now, kinetic weapons, all these things. But the Lord said, I'm gonna make The Lord said, I'm gonna make you my weapon. He's not gonna have us, you know what, I'm gonna lead you to a factory. There's gonna be a bunch of M16s and not. Because then you're gonna give the power or the glory to those weapons. Right. The Lord said, nah, Israel's gonna be my battle axe and weapon of war. And we already have the written record of the Lord doing that before. He did, and the Lord said, what? I shall raise up the tabernacle of David as in the days of old. Got it.
For they got not the land in possession by their own sword, neither did their own arm save them, but thy right hand and thy arm and the light of thy countenance, because thou hadst a favor unto them.
Yep, they had the favor unto them. And that's who? The nation of Israel. And it's always been that way. The Lord said, I will have mercy on Jacob and yet still choose Israel. So it's always going to be the Lord dealing with Israel. And that's why you got the remnant in this time. Because the majority of our people, they revolted and gone. They went after the ways of the heathens. But through the grace and mercy, through the Holy Spirit, through what Yahweh Shai did in the latter times, now we have our connection back to the Heavenly Father, man. And we're praying, we're sighing and crying, we're chanting, we're singing this song, and the Lord's hearing this, man. So now you see what's happening in the world. Everything is now coming to that full circle for the world that was created for Israel to give back to Israel again. And it's going to be through Yahweh Shai to establish righteousness on the earth, man. Look for it.
Verse 4, thou art my king, O God. Command deliverances for Jacob. Through thee will we push down our enemies. Through thy name will we tread them under thy rod. Through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us.
Yep. And that's why we don't have any fear, man. Right? That's why we know that we're behind enemy lines. We're not out here with any type of physical threat. We're not a physical threat. You just have the police just sit there and just stare, watch us. Well, they can see if he wanted to, he could just take out his thing and just light us all up. What happened?
So illegal.
Yeah. But once again, all we're doing is just speaking His word. All we're doing is singing.
Yep.
That's it. All we're doing is singing the lyrics. But that is what is a threat to them, man, because they know that, as it says in Judith, that these people are one with their power. You can't stop.
And you know what's interesting is that you look at some of these like going on way here today, those that so-called Christians that walk around with a microphone and all that, and megaphone, they do the same thing. They're on the street corners. They're also speaking the Bible. But why? What is so different about what we're doing? Because physically, we're all doing the same thing. We're all on street corners and we're all saying something. But that shows you that the problem is the actual message is what's being said. Yep.
It's that's why they want to censor it. You know, certain songs couldn't be played on the radio or couldn't be played like on MTV because of what was actually being said.
Right.
The lyrics of it. They try to bleep out certain words. They want to bleep out this whole thing.
Yep.
And that's what we were talking about with the whole situation at our normal campsite. How they blocked off the interest over there, so we can't even go over there now. But that's ultimately what they're trying to do on a wider scale with the actual truth, man. They want to choke the word. They want to stop. They want to pull it from the station. Yep. But hey, the Lord said that was going to happen. It was going to get to that time. It says,
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't be surprised if next week they block some stuff off over here so we can't.
yeah,
Because literally they wasn't here for no reason.
yeah, of course. And that's why they wanted to, because I think in cop cars you can hear outside, like inside of the car, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so you can hear that, right?
Camera's right there.
Well, yeah, you can hear outside from inside. So that's why they stood there and listened. Yep, the dash cams, yep. So we know we have the time of the persecution, man. We've always been, lately, that's been heavy on my spirit. That the time of the persecution of what we're doing is going to happen, man. You had Trump and Trump's advisors meet with Iran. I don't know if brothers got any information on that. But, no, they haven't. I seen one update and said they have ended talks with Little Movement, but I didn't read what actually was said. But hey, that's the spirit of the Lord, man. Because we're in the time of these prophecies, these words being fulfilled. The effect of every vision is at hand. And that's a part of the song. That's a part of the lyrics that we're saying, that you're going to go to war. Babylon is going to go to war with Iran. They're going to be drawn out because of the Amalekites. Yeah. And that's a chant. That's why you said the sister, the chick that you said you was talking, she was saying, no, you speaking things into existence. Well, how are we able to do that? Well, we're just regular men, right? How are we able to speak things into existence? Because ultimately, we're not just regular men. Once again, the information that we have received came from the heavens. So, in essence, yes, we are speaking things into existence, and that's why you had Trump say that. There's prophets that say that the world is going to end in the Middle East. Why are you saying that? Who's saying that first and foremost? And then why are you saying that? Because Trump said he's not a Christian. He don't believe in the Bible. So why are you saying things that are written in the Bible and saying that there are prophets that are saying this? Because he understands full and well the power of the prophets, man. It's not something that is physical. It's something that is spiritual. It's our words.
Verse 6, Psalm 44:6. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. But thou hast saved us from our enemies, hast put them to shame that hated us. And God, we boast all day long and praise thy name forever. Salah.
See, and the Most High Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, we boast all the day long, man. And we are proud to do that. That's why the Lord said, if you boast in anything, boast in this, is that you know me, man. That's it. That's the only thing you need to boast in. That's why in Revelation it said that they had the names of their father written in their foreheads. That's all we need. Hey, that's what David told Saul. He told the Philistines, he told Goliath that. I don't need a sword or the spear. I'm gonna come to you in the name of my power. Actually, brother, before that, I was going to say something else.
I was going to say that precept, though, that was a bad precept because it reflects all of our captivities. Because when you go to the time of Egypt, the Lord did the same thing. When you go to the time of the Medes, the Persians, the Greeks,
right? Even the Babylonians, right? What happened with the three holy children? That's a great testimony of us standing up against the power and its society, right? In our name, in the name of our power, Yahweh Bashim and Yahushua. Because everybody else fell subject to that social pressure. The same thing that's going to be happening here very soon. When the MOTV comes out, people are going to succumb to that social pressure, man. It's not just power pressure from above; it's also pressure from below. You know, and you're going to be caught in the middle. But then, if you don't have the Lord with you, who's going to fight on your behalf, like Yahushua said, well, he said, "Well, I will keep thee in the hour of temptation." Then you're going to be screwed, man. You're going to end up failing the test, and you're going to take that seat. You know. But these things that we're saying is all reflective of Trump knows about the prophets. He hears about the prophets. Because guess what? They give intelligence briefings on everything we say. All right? The things that we go into, the topics that brothers be going into, it's heavy stuff. It's heavy stuff, man. Things that they don't want you to know about. Things that they know, but they wonder, how the hell did they know? Because they're not in our inner circles. When they see the prophets, when we come out here like that, they're like, how do they know all this information? And even the apostles even brought it out from time to time. They bring out how there was one time they were teaching, and then this limo pulled up, and some Edomite popped out in a suit or whatever. And he's looking at the sign. He's like, "How did you get that? How did you guys get that? You know, we did so much for all the years to hide this from you. How did you guys get that?" Yeah, you know, and you could tell that kind of interaction. For Edomite to pop out and be all like, "Yo, how did you get that?" That's like a big deal to them. You know, so they don't take this lightly. They're not going to send cops and put these things around just because we're nobodies. Come on, man. They know everything we're saying is true. And they see the things that we're saying is coming to pass. And going back to that example that Zaquan made about this being the music, it's like in the world when you have that song that pops out and it becomes popular, you got some that listen to it, they're like, yo, that song is fire. And you got those that don't listen to it, and all of a sudden it becomes so popular, everybody's listening to it. That's the truth right now. That's why people coming out of the woodwork, oh, nah, this is this or this is that. So this whole time, you niggas been hearing the song, but you act like you don't hear it. But now that everybody's talking about it,
Fight for you, not
it's not dance. Yep. You know, now that everybody's talking about it and it's catching mainstream attention, all of a sudden people want to come in, oh, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Oh, wow, I'm no longer a Hebrew Israelite. You all condemned at the end of the day. If you don't have the elect, you're going to be condemned, man.
All right. I got the percentage though, but the article was an update. So this is from the Al Jazeera joint. It says Iran, U.S. talks in Oman. It says discussion to continue next week. So it says Iran says constructive talks with the United States and Oman's capital have ended, as the two sides have agreed to hold more discussions next week. Oman says the talks in Muscat were held in a friendly atmosphere conducive to bridging viewpoints. Foreign Minister Abbas Arghani, the Iranian delegation, while Special Envoy Steve Witkoff headed the U.S. team. The two officials spoke for a few minutes in the presence of the Omani foreign minister after the conclusion of the indirect talks on a nuclear issue and the lifting of sanctions. The Iranian foreign ministry says U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened military action if a deal isn't reached. Iran says it's not seeking nuclear weapons and wants sanctions lifted. So it's really, kind of nothing happened, but
Yeah.
they said it was not too unfriendly.
Right. And once again, like we was talking about yesterday, even in the ancient times, you had delegations, right? You had certain spokespeople or messengers would go from one nation to other and talk. It doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. You know, it showed you that in 1800, we had the Persian go to the Leonidas. It's like, oh, we got these concessions, we want these concessions. But at the end of the day, y'all want two separate things. And Bibi, right? The Lord got Bibi, and that might say, "Now we want these things to be like how Libya is." Iran said that ain't gonna happen. They ain't gonna Gaddafi us. So we had an impasse right now. So these talks really, and remember, the Lord, He's the one that works on the minds, man. You know, was that when Daniel, where he said he had the angel had to go work on the mind of the Persian, I believe, was it the Persian, right?
Yeah.
So it's a whole process that takes place. That ultimately the Lord is the one that's driving, through the angels where He wants everything to go. Because as it says in Revelation 17, He put it into their hearts to fulfill His will.
That's right.
And in Romans it says, who can resist this? Who can resist His will, man? So we once again are out here, harping with our hearts, telling the world this is what is going to happen. This is the will of the Lord. And this isn't a message that we came up with. This is a message that, once again, came through the Rakah Kodash, saints and holy men, right? And the ones, the feet of them that bring glad tidings. Because really, You think about the glad tidings. Who is it really glad to? What we're talking about, everybody on the earth hears this as doom. Hears this as it's a sweet, get that in sweet safer. To them, it's to the death, it's death. To everybody in the world, it sounds like death. So who is this an actual gospel to? It's only to the elect, the small remnant of the nation of Israel. Only the ones that believe and actually understands what we're saying, actually understands the lyrics, is this actually good news to. That's why everybody is saying, even we were talking, even the people that like Trump, Putin, Xi Jinping, they all say, oh, we don't want war. We don't want to go to war. Now they say that if we have to, we will, but we don't want to. But why? But why are you still going in that direction?
Precepts to go off your point, and the info that the Quan Ali Shai brought out. This is Psalms 55 and 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, console. You see how they do these talks, but the Iranians know that the Esau doesn't keep his word. So they're doing talks, but it's like, what's really the point? You're gonna say one thing and do some other shit anyways. But they're still trying to, all right, maybe we could get something to happen to it. You know, really the nations are desperate because they all going to this one point of no return, which is World War III, and there's nothing they can do to really stop it. Right. And the Lord is using these Amalekites, which is the state of Israel and America, because they keep pushing it, because they'll have an agreement, which is like a covenant, right? When he breaks the covenant, they'll have an agreement, and then a false flag will pop up, and they're gonna blame it on Iran anyways. Yeah. Oh, whoops! I guess we're back in war again. They had an agreement with Gaza, right? A ceasefire. Did they break that shit? Yeah. So, you know, he's saying one thing but doing another. Trump has said, we don't want war. We don't want war. But they got a battery pack in your back. You're going to bring war. Either way it goes. He is acting like that cruel Lord, you know, that the scriptures prophesies about. He's really making, look at how much has happened in a matter of a few months. Oh, yeah. We are not even a year into this man's presidency.
It's not even 100 days yet. Woo! But hey, that's a part of the prophecy, man. The Lord said he was going to shorten the days. Meaning he was going to speed these things up. Like the third will come quick. The fact that you got Trump talking about World War III, you know, Putin talking about going against NATO, the Middle East conflict, the South Pacific, you know, region conflict, all of that. Huh? Oh, they had tariffs. All of that is a recipe for disaster, man. And once you get out all of the rest, once you mix all these things up, hey, you gotta have to cook it.
Yeah. Boiling.
Yep, the boiling point, the inflection point, as they like to say.
Same.
Yep, it's yes.
So
Awesome. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Job 20 and 23. When he is about to fill, I'm sorry, I'm starting at 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is
the word wicked, mom means the laborer, man. And you can see what he's doing. No, taking jobs away, firing people. Oh yeah. So the hypocrite said, if you want to work in the field, you want to pick crops, or if you want to work in these hotels, you can stay. Like I said, you want to be a house nigga, a field nigga, and that's why Trump said they're taking all the black jobs. Because that's what they look at Israel as. Y'all are the base, the loaf. Y'all got to stay in this position. But hey, we like that. You know, we're not up in arms and upset with him saying that. No, keep talking that way. Because hey, that's a part of prophecy. Your look got to be that stout, man. And ain't Trump being a president of the so-called most powerful nation, this thing is not a politician at all. He doesn't speak, he doesn't walk, he doesn't move like a politician. He's just doing you know what? That other brother said, that cruel Lord that the Lord said he was going to put over this place, man. Got it.
Like the Roman emperors, majority of them, when they came up into office, some of them weren't like actually Yeah, they didn't have political background. You know, some of them didn't want to do it, but they were in there just like Trump, right? Like prior to 2016, nobody would have. When you thought of Trump, you think of it in terms of like a political setting, right? Like that.
He ran for president a couple times, but he kept dropping out because he never had that support.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very preset.
I think it was a little bit more yours.
Yeah. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating.
There you go. So that's that NWO, right? Instituting there's that new age where he thinks that he's going to have complete, omnipotency, right, over the world through his technology, through surveillance, through ultimately the MOTB, the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, right? That's a part of his agenda, part of his enterprise to become God on the earth, man. Because you even had the director of education, Linda McMahon, which is Vince McMahon's wife, and she did a couple of scenes in WWE. She got Stone Cold stunned before, man. So that's a thing. So yeah. So think about these are the people that are in these higher up the cabinets of Trump now. Yeah, Trump was in there too.
WrestleMania.
Yeah. Entertainers, man. Yeah, he did. Yeah. He changed the same, yeah. So that's who is your leaders right now, man. But she talking about that A1. She called it A1. She didn't call it AI. That's how you know they just ignorant. She was like A1. It's going to the children are going to be being taught by A1, and everybody just looking at her like yo. So you just going to say she's the secretary of the Department of Education, talking about education, talking about AI, calling it A1. Like, come on, man. Is there no more wisdom in teaming? What happened, bro?
It's not good. A1 steak sauce.
Yeah, A1 steak sauce. But hey, that's once again, there's no more wisdom in teaming. Hey, Trump talking about Liberation Day with the tariffs. Everybody, this is a beautiful thing. 2 days later, we're not going to pause it. That's fake news. And the next day, actually, we're all going to pause it. We've been thinking about it for a while. Like, what's going on? Which way you going with this right now, man?
I think China bumped up their tariff percentage up. I think 125. Yeah, to match the U.S. Yeah. They said that they're not going to go up anymore if the U.S. goes up. He said they're done with that shit. So it's a joke now. We're not even dealing with that. That's going to be something 50%, right? What was that yesterday?
Oh yeah, 15% imports comes from America. Yeah. So the Walmart said we don't care. We don't care. We're only losing 15% of our market. They said that China's been around for 5,000 years. America's new. China gonna be around long after America. I'm like, yo, that's a fact. America is not America. Hey, the triumphing of the wicked is but for a moment, man.
Yeah,
it's short. You don't get to live on forever, man. You got only a small piece of the story, man. Now it was a great, like Babylon, great and wickedness, but it's only a small piece, man. That's why the Lord say, hey, in 1 hour, this place gonna be destroyed.
Think about how the truth came out, how quick shit started going down. These some years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the heightened part of America was only within the last generation. You didn't have because I actually asked Brock, right? I asked AI. I said, was America the fastest empire to rise? And it said based off of the height of when America came into its height in time, it said based off of that, I think it said it only took like 117 years, something like that, from its inception in 1776 to I think it said 19 something. Early 1900s. Yeah, the early 1900s. No, or was it 18? I can't remember, but it had the quickest rise. So America went from being a new nation, and it rose the quickest out of all empires, man. And just like that, it's going to fall. That's why the Lord said in 1 hour, how such great riches come to naught. Yeah, is it more than that?
Says, he shall flee from the iron weapon and the bow of steel shall strike him through.
What is that? That's the nukes, man. Brother can get Jeremiah 51, right? Because the Lord said he got this. He's going to open up his armory, and his own weapons is going to destroy it. The own things that Esau created to be, as what the Oppenheimer said. Now have I become death? When they created the atomic bomb, the destroyer of worlds.
To that meeting that they had today is fleeing from the iron weapon. They try peace talks.
Right.
That's fleeing from the iron weapon.
Yeah, Trump said that the greatest existential threat. Biden says it's climate change. No, it's nuclear missiles. That's the greatest threat. He said the greatest threat is nuclear missiles. And why is that, man? Why is nuclear missiles the greatest threat? Because according to prophecy, that is going to be the way that your kingdom is destroyed.
And the point, I talked to a client the other day, and we talked about the whole Iranian thing. Like, yo, you think about it, why y'all feel so threatened? Y'all can just leave them alone, and they're not gonna bother you. It's not like Iran would just attack them,
Right.
if they would. But you're fucking with their shit, so they're like, yo, we gonna keep them in for protection.
They killing all these war generals. Like, see,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah, bro, like, you keep bombing them or beating
I
them down,
don't know.
fucking up their whole shit. Yeah. You know, what's that? Soleimani was the first one, and then the next one, and the next one. They still ain't do nothing. You still keep provoking. Like actually, you said, they're gonna make a deal, and they're gonna break the deal, and then turn around and say, "Oh, see, this is why we gotta go in there and fuck them up." You know?
Yeah.
Besides their mantra, I think the mantra was war through deception, something like that. Well, I can look it up before because they changed it, but their mission statement or their mantra was conducting war through deception. So that's Esau, man, because it tells you that when Satan was loose from his prison, where did he want to go to deceive the nations? That's a part of his power. Second Thessalonians, with all power, signs, lying wonders, all deceivableness. That's a part of Esau's. That's a part of his power. Going back to the garden, the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
By way of deception.
Yeah, I think it's by way of deception. Got it.
They don't have a lot of information on it, obviously.
Yeah. Now, I remember I looked it up. Their old shit was by way of deception, we engage war.
By deception, thou shalt do war.
Yeah, by way of deception, by way of deception, you shall engage in war. So all of those, and they say that the Mossad is higher than the CIA, man. You know, they showed you how they get down, man. And that's why, as the brother said, with the whole ceasefire talks, they'll do those shits, and then they'll drop bombs right on this in the same shit that they said that because Hamas. They just came out and said Israel, the 48ers, hit a camp, a tent camp, and they said that shit was by mistake. And Hamas said there was no way that was by mistake. Like, there was nothing but civilians there, and you knew that was nothing but civilians there, and you just dropped the bomb on them. That's it too.
It says here, what does the Mossad motto, by way of deception, thou shalt do war, mean? It says, it means they'll never stop committing cowardly acts of terrorism or theism for the purpose of framing others, doing any and everything, no matter how horrific, to trick, deceive, and manipulate the world into giving them their way.
Yep, it said they'll do these things no matter how horrific it is to deceive others, man. And when you look at the thing that happened on September of 2001, there was a setup by those people. They go into the information about how all of those small hats was took off of how that happened. Just
They
random.
got an alert. I think it said a small hat only app, kind of like Telegram.
Yeah.
They sent an alert to all of them how to go to work that day.
Yep. That's wild. But they had the dancing Israelis. I think that was in Jersey too. They said they captured Israeli agents in Jersey, and they were in a van that had like a plane and the buildings on it. And they said they caught them
And people were like, yo, what the fuck? They're like celebrating, like this was the mission and it was done, was the buildings collapsed. And everybody's like, yo, what happened with these guys? Like they should be persecuted or like looked into. Well, they got sent right back to Israel. Not a word of it spoken again.
And also too with the 911, they were saying I heard brother the historian tells the doctor, he was like when before that happened, they were trying to pass the Patriot Act, but they were basically like the American people was going against it, they didn't really want it. So they said they had to come up with something to where like they had to accept it. And that's ultimately what they did that for to the Patriot Act. That also brought in all of like this tea stuff. Like looking into people and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I never felt rain, I never felt great. All my life.
To this music. Is there more? There's more. You can if there's this. Yeah. But hey, see, and that's why they pushing this whole thing, even with Trump, with this whole anti-S thing, right? You know, because you can't say nothing against them. You can't bring out the truth about what they actually doing and how they're moving because it exposes them. And that's what the prophets were set up for. The prophets were set up to, and then Lord Scripture says, then shall that wicked be revealed. Then shall that wicked be revealed. Who's coming is his appearance. I think it's in the NLT. It says his appearance is to do the work of Satan. Man. And when you look at how these devils move, starting with Amalek, they're moving adverse. Satan means adverse. They're adverse to the Most High, man. The Lord does things in truth. This nigga does things in deception.
Just to add to you, Zaquan, how can you possibly make an agreement with the devil? By nature, he's going to deceive you. So the Persians, by the fact that they're even trying, it shows that you ain't really up on game when it comes to Esau yet. But you about to find out, and that's when they're going to really come down and say, you know what? After this shit falls through, this probably will be the last straw that broke the camel's back. Because that's what the Amalekite does. That's what the small hat does. They strike you, they stabbing you up, and they crying out, help, help. But here it is, they got the knife, and they got blood on their hands. And they literally plan the victim as they're throwing missiles and fucking your people up and genociding you and saying, but please help us, we're the victim.
Yeah.
And the world eats it up. Mostly the West, though.
If I would say, when they broke that treaty and they went up and when they did more killing, and Turkey split up against it, what are they trying to? They're trying to start a whole, campaign to have Turkey take out a NATO. Yeah. So that what is happening. But also on the deal with Iran, now you're making some ridiculous demands that they don't even want Iran to shut down nuclear programs. They want to blow that shit up. Like, and they're like, yo, you don't just like. A nuclear facility is not just for making nuclear missiles. Like that's how you power your fucking city. So what do you want us to fucking live in caves and shit? And so,
but that's what he said. He wanted it to be like Libya, and they said that if you look at how Libya is now, before whatever they did, Libya was actually thriving. You know, their economy was like thriving, but now Libya is done. Yeah. You don't hear about Libya on a geo-economic scale, political scale. And Netanyahu said, "Oh, we want it to kind of be like how Libya is." Yeah, with Gaddafi, because with Gaddafi, he was basically he wanted to have Libya become to a point where it's like, yo, we're good, like we're now on the economic level to where you got to actually deal with us as equals. And they're like, nah, baby, fuck that.
He tried to continue on the work that Nkrumah did, and try to create a united Africa, and then you got this guy. You are.
Yeah, because the resources that is in Africa, a lot of the Western countries have to come over there and make deals with them. So when they see that, these so-called African leaders are actually coming together and saying, we're gonna be independent from Western influence. We don't need your military help. We don't need your financial help. We're gonna do our own thing. They said, nah, we can't do that because we have no power over you. When we come here, we actually gotta come on an agreement type shit. Yeah. Right. What's the best you could do for us? What's the best we could do for you type shit. But Gaddafi, and he was very anti-Jakes. I actually have a video where he was going in, cursing them out, man. I said, I said, see why they took him out? Because he was literally cooking. He said, you don't make deals with these devils because they're gonna fuck you over. You're gonna do this, they'll do this to you. He was breaking it all out, man. And he said, look, guess what? Very soon they're gonna try to come kill me too. And anybody who talks like me. He was saying that before they took him out, man. You know, so that's what they do, man. And then Yahoo, I also got another video of him back, I think it was like the 80s or the 90s. He was talking mad shit. He said, "Oh, the United States, yeah, they're our base pretty much. Yeah, we don't work." He said, "We own the Senate, we own the president that comes in, we own all this shit. So whatever we do, they're not going to speak against us." That's what he said. He said, "We could do anything in this world, and in America, we got them in our back pocket. There's nothing they could do about it. If anything, they're going to endorse what we do." I said, "Oh shit, okay."
And you know what? They would they would have you make a deal at the expense of your people, and then they would turn around and call you corrupt. So they like, yo, you know, if I'm thinking it's better for me to take a gift than to, lose my life, and you still get your way, and I'm taking a gift, why would you go around and fucking expose me and make yourself look like an angel? So like we're saying, like they're devils. You know, all they care about is deceiving you and making your life miserable. Like they're not interested in peace. They're not interested in finding the middle ground. They're just here to like destroy and make everybody's life very miserable. You know?
Yep. Hey, that's why the scripture says, you get that Jeremiah 50, the hammer of the earth, and also Isaiah 14, right? Go to the city. Because there's a point where everything brothers brought out, right? There's a point where now that has to be dealt with, man. You can't just be running amok on the earth and just destroying all nations, starting with the nation of the Lord, chiefly, and you think you just gonna go away unscathed. Where it said in Jeremiah 49, right, that shall you not go unpunished? Those that whose portion wasn't to drink of the cup has surely drunken of it. And shall you not go unpunished? You done did the worst. That's why what's that? It said they measure us in the weight of the balance with these heathens, man. Measure our sins against, like, look, yo, I know, and we know we fucked up, Lord. But look at these niggas. Like, look at what these guys are doing. They're literally you woe into the bloody city, man. Right? I had a thought, like, the game order say blood in, blood out. America was established on blood. You don't get to just ride out. You establish your whole system on blood, on deception, on lies, and on theft. You don't get to just ride out and like, yeah, we just good, pass it to pass, and that's it. We just gonna move forward from here. Nah, you gotta deal with that, man. That's an unbalanced act, and the Lord said that here false balance is an abomination. That there needs to be a balancing of what Babylon did, what Esau did, what Amalek with the house of Edom. There needs to be a balance with that, man. From the beginning, if you want to go technical, from the serpent. And we're in the time where now where the Lord said, what? In this generation, you're going to discover thy sins. You're now going to have to be punished. And the punishment of your iniquity is reached the heavens, man. And you don't have a mediator. You don't have an unblemished lamb. You don't have a sacrifice to give unto the Lord. That's why he said, I have a sacrifice in Basra. You're the sacrifice. That's it. You're the sacrifice. Your nation, your kingdom, all that is the smoke that's going to go up to the Heavenly Father to appease him for what you have done. And that's why in Isaiah, the 14th chapter, it says that your cities shall never rise again. You're never going to fill the nations, the world with cities anymore, man. Actually, we can pull that, whoever got that first. Isaiah 14.
Oh, that thou pull not the face of the earth.
Yep. It talks about for the punishment of their fathers, the children.
Yeah, very slowly.
Yeah, but very slowly. We used to always bring that out. But it's even more so now, man.
I'm not that person.
Start at 4. Start at 4.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 4, and it says, Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressors ceased, the golden city ceased.
Yep, and that's what we're doing at the land of the Lord. We're taking up this proverb against Babylon. And we're seeing it. We're seeing, and they're seeing it. Why do you think he's doing what he's doing? He's seeing how they're ceasing from being that hegemon on the earth, man. and now they're trying to get it back. Yeah. Now, like, hey, y'all moving away from us. Y'all trying to make other packs without our dollar. Then now we can't have that. Now, y'all trying to do trade without us being involved, without us being a middleman. That's going to be problematic. Hey, that article I put in the chat about the American tourism in France, they saying that they feeling uneased. Americans going, in Europe now, they're saying that the one dude said he had a cap on and he had the American little flag symbol. He said he had to put black tape over it to hide it, man. That's how, hey, he said he had a Yankees hat. He said, yeah, I kept it in the hotel.
No shame that, boy.
They feeling ashamed, man. And nobody wanted to be an American no more.
If I may, those other countries, they're bold. Like, they're not politically correct. They're going to be, oh, what about your president? What's he doing? Oh, Trump, how do you feel about that? They're going to be right up in your face with it. So now you Babylonians like going abroad and having these little cute pictures, and that shit is about to be over with. It might be travel bans on U.S. Y'all not allowed to come.
They've been telling their citizens don't a travel warning to come into U.S. Like, hey, it ain't too good over there right now. It ain't. And then you go over there, you gotta be careful. People don't really like us right now. But it's funny because it is a specific type of Babylonian. Because if we go over there, they not gonna be able to have a problem with us. They're like, yeah, now we know why. We don't like why y'all don't like them, man. But hey, the scripture says ain't nobody look after our welfare, man. Nobody cared about what was going on to us over here in America. Hey, in Revelation, it tells you they send gifts to one another. But now that cup is now being passed into you Edomites, man. And you having an evil eye toward your own Edomite, because them Frenchmen, them are Edomites. So you got a French Edomite looking at American Edomite like this nigga ain't right. You look like me, but not nigga, you ain't right, man. Word. You can't. I'm proud to be an American.
Anywhere you went, right? You don't see that many people wearing MAGA hats no more.
70% though. They got that much of a vote. So the other nations like, you clearly like this nigga.
Right.
Y'all supported him boldly. Like, I gotta make America great. Like, his look is more stout than his fellows. For real. The American Edomite is like, their pride is like, it knows no bounds, bro.
Yo, my bad. They said that at these protestings that are happening with the Tesla and with the government, you had the people that was protesting against it. I seen this one chick, Edomite chick. She was saying that she went there and she was expecting it to be violent. She was expecting it to be like controversial, but she was like, she noticed when she went there was no black people, and she was like, she found out the reason why it was becoming controversial is because the military or the police people that were there, they were attacking the black people. So now a lot of these protestings, there's no cops there, and you having the right and the left, clashing, but it's only Edomites that are going against each other. And it was like, oh, but we're out here fighting for the black people, but the black people are not out there. But we're realizing that they're not out there because when they go out there, it gets violent. So they're staying home, and now it's just the Edomite left versus the Edomite right going against each other. And when you see that was happening right in Springfield at the Tesla had a protest there. And you see none but just Edomites on one side of the street with the red hats and the other Edomites. Elon is not even an American. And down with Trump, like they just going back. They going back. Egyptian against Egyptian, man. Yep. And you had Jay like, nah, this ain't our fight. Yep. But you got the stupid ass Jakes that still trying to be up there too.
Oh no, bro! I can add on to that, bro. Because me and Shamir did the joint the other day. He was talking about in Vmore they had a protest, right? And he said it was all Edomites. He said he was Ubering this dude, it's an 80-year-old Edomite, and he said he was like, yo, he was taking them there and shit. So he said when he seen it, he was like, it's nothing but Edomites. He's like, he ain't seen no Jakes, like not one Jake. So that goes to show that the National Guard and King are prince, because Trump is technically their king and prince, because that's their nation.
Yep.
saying?
Hey, the Lord, Yahweh Shai said it. If Satan's house be divided, how can it stand? Right, brother, can pull that in the NLT. Right? How can it stand when you? That's why when you look at our history, when did Israel actually fall? Is when the house of Judah and the house of Ephraim, when that got split. That's what the Lord did. Right? When Solomon reigned and Solomon went off, the Lord said, "What? I'm going to divide the nation." And from that point on, it was done. Israel just got worse and worse and worse. And the other nations were able to infiltrate, take it over, destroy it. And then the curses started to come, be multiplied upon us. And that's what you're seeing happening now to Esau. Because the Lord said, all these curses I put on you, I'm going to put on them. And at the same time, what is happening? The nation of Israel, starting with the elect, the house of David, is the Lord said he's going to close up the breaches. So now we're being unified. Doesn't matter what tribe you're from. If you are confessing Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai in sincerity and truth, hey, you're a brother. So we got brothers that we don't even know, but hey, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, hey, you my brother, man. You down with the Lord, you singing this song. You could be singing this song in Italy. You could be in the Philippines. You could be from the South, from the East. That whole East Coast, West Coast beef that Esau trying to make during the 90s, that shit's done now in the truth. It don't matter if you're from the West Coast. Actually, it's even better. Like, oh, y'all out there singing, yeah, we over here. You in South America, you over there, man. Anytime you see your brother and how about you, man? It's like, oh, damn,
Better.
but now you see Edomite, see another Edomite with a hat on, looking at him all different. You damn dimmies, what do you call them? The lefties, the liberals. Them niggas, they be going in, yo.
Even the courthouses, the Senate hearings and shit.
Oh, yeah. And decency.
Oh yeah.
So look at what they're beefing over. They're beefing over wickedness, man. They're beefing over wickedness. Wait, you address her. It's ma'am.
They got a whole man sitting there talking about man.
That's crazy. You can't even go through a hearing, man.
Yeah.
In your councils. Aren't thou weary in thy councils?
Yeah.
You can't even finish a council. Yeah, close the book up. I would not
Fuck it all.
do it. I would not tolerate. Oh, it's not tolerant. Decency.
Oh, how's the fighter though?
The house divided.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. So Matthew chapter 12, verse 26 in the NLT, it says, and if Satan is casting out Satan, he is divided and fighting against himself. His own kingdom will not survive.
No, start up.
Start up.
Start at 20. 25.
Yeah, if you think about it, it's like if you had a demon rebuking other demons. Like you got a demon on this individual, another demon comes to rebuke him. So he can go. At that point, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have less demonic activity overall going on in the world. And then that's like if their whole mission is to cause chaos, you're gonna have those numbers dwindle because they're basically doing the job of our adversaries to each other. That's why that house cannot stand.
Yeah. Matthew chapter 12, verse 25 in the NLT says, Yahushua knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed.
It said any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. During the candidacy, that was all they were talking about. If we don't win, it's going to be civil. There's going to be civil war. If we don't win, it's going to be and you see it happening right now. Since Trump got in office, thousands of protests, man. Thousands of protests against this guy, man. Now he said it was a red sweep. 70% of people. So who protested? You got a lot of people that voted for him that got asked out of the job. Now they're going against this guy. Like, yo, you said we're gonna make America great. Why am I fired now?
Right.
And the thing is, a lot of these people that got those jobs, it's not like you could just go get another federal job. You took down all of this shit, man. It's a federal government job. So now they're in a position to where it's like, yo, I didn't think I was going to be targeted. I was going to get targeted with this. So now they're protesting against it. You got veterans. Got one city hall. I forgot what a mayor was, a governor, but he went to the city hall. They could barely even speak. You had a veteran who's like, "You're fucking lying." He's like,
North Carolina.
It was North Carolina, yeah. And you had the actual government told their mayors, they was like, "Yo, don't go do a town hall meeting, man. Yeah, don't do it in person because they're not regarding their kings or princes." So what happens when it gets more and more chaotic? Yeah, when when these tariffs, inflation, people are now trying to stretch their dollar. You're not getting your Social Security. Now you got higher prices. People are not going to just resort to just cursing you out at a town hall meeting. Right? It's going to be it's going to be with swords in their hands. All of the things that are in prophecy. Remember, we always say these things. They saw the effects, right, of what was going on. We're now living the cause. We're seeing it. We're seeing why it's coming. Why what Ezra saw is happening, man. The end is manifest, as it says. It's actually playing out. And these are this is what the Lord told us to look out for. When you start to see these signs, when you see part of the signs pass, hey, measure the time that when you see these things come to pass, know that the end is near, man.
It's like if you're watching a movie, and sometimes you'll see a scene where it's like one of the characters ends up in a car crash. You can see what type of car it is, but you're like, this guy don't drive this car. So as you're watching the movie, you see that sign happen, he comes into some money, and then this is the one specific car he goes to actually buy. So now you're like, okay, this scene must be coming up soon because now I see how he ends up in a car crash in this type of car when I know that's not the car he drives. So it's like us right now. We're living in the times where we're like, all right, based on how things are going now, because when Second Ezra's 15, 16, when these precepts were being brought out, it's been being brought out for decades, right? And so those were times where centuries, right? Those were times when the state of the world was almost like opposite to what the scripture said would be happening. Right? No, but I mean like being brought out, like being taught by the apostles and stuff like that. Down. So it's like you're saying, hey, the America's going to look like this at some point, and yet we're living in the complete opposite of that.
Right.
So you're wondering how does that actually happen? And now as we start to see things get closer and closer, it's like that we see through a glass darkly. We're getting closer and closer, so the image is getting clearer and clearer. Now we're like, it makes sense because based on what's going on now, the only possible solution would be that they would resort to this or resort to that. This is why Ezra said X, Y, and Z, or he saw X, Y, and Z.
That's why it says in Second Peter that they've been since the fathers fell asleep. All things continue as they were. That's why you had scoffers. When we was, you can only imagine. I remember when we was first out here, you had people scoffing. So you can only imagine when the apostles was out there, man. How many people were just scoffing? You seen the videos. You see how people were just, it was always a crowd. The elder knows about it when he was out there. It was always a crowd. It was always people going against what you were saying. Because you were in the heightened part of Babylon. People were living good. During the time of Bill Clinton's reign, Jake thought that he was the Messiah, man. They thought Bill Clinton was their actual king. In the 90s, in that era, you had Jake was coming up. Because remember, you're only about 20 years removed, 20, 30 years removed from the Civil Rights Act, right? The 90s to the 60s, only about 30 years removed. And then during that time, Jake was able to start to get housing. Jake was starting to get better jobs, right? So in that time period, you had Jake was in the mindset of doom. It was in the mindset of now we're building up, we're getting more successful. The boom, yeah, it was in the boom mindset. But during that time, you still had the man, the Lord out there. The consistency was the prophecy of this place going down. That was being talked about. So that's why you had to rise. You had to whoop. It's like a roller coaster. You're going up, you're up there, and then you just straight down and drop. So it says, since the fathers fell asleep. So now you don't have people scoffing. Now you don't got people saying, y'all been saying that. Because what we're saying now, like you said with the boys in the world, you must be happy this is happening. No, of course they're not happy. So they're gonna be mad at us because we had to mourn. The Lord said that. Your mourning while the world is rejoicing, you're going to be mourning, but be of good cheer, because when you start to eat joy, no man going to be able to take that away. You can pull that up. Nobody's going to be able to take away the joy, because what are we happy about? We're happy about the unfolding of what is happening in society. You can't stop that. You can't stop what is actually coming to pass. They're trying to heal Babylon, but it's not being healed. So you can't stop the fact that America is falling. You can't stop that these wars are formulating. All you can do is just say, "Oh, I don't want to talk about it." But you don't got to talk about it. You live in it. And that eventually, that's the only thing that you're going to be living. You're only going to be living the hell, man. But we get to rejoice. Hey, Isaiah, it says, well, my servant shall rejoice of spirit, because we're not of this world. So us seeing this world go down, it only means that our world is coming. And that is what separates the elect, the hopeful elect, from everybody else. We see past this. We see afar off. People only can see right here. They only see what's in front of them. But we're looking past what's this, man. You got it?
There's a book of John, chapter 16, verse 20. It says, verily, this is Yahushua speaking, verily, verily, I say unto you, that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice.
Yep.
And ye shall be.
No, I was going to say, and that's what we have been doing, man. Sighing and crying for all the abominations that have been done here, man. Our people indulge, and they still are indulging in wickedness. But in the beginning, I'll say for me, in the beginning of when I came out, we were always telling Jake about repenting, turning from their sins, stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Stop getting shape up. Sorry, and it's the same. That's still we're saying the same thing. But now it's more so. You better, if you don't stop now, you about to be killed. Like it is no more. Hey, the Lord calling you back, brother. Like now, the Lord's saying this is the last time I'm calling. If you don't pick up this one, it's over. Really, it's over. If you're not on this side, you might, bro. You better just hope you got mercy. I don't know, bro.
It says that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice, and ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. A woman, when she is in travail, hath sorrow, because her hour is come.
Yep.
But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembereth no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world.
Yep, hey, and that's likened unto what we're doing right now, because we've been sighing and crying, we've been mourning, right, for a long period of time. And that's like the birth pains. And the Lord says that these sorrows are like the beginning of the birth pains. So eventually, as the Lord just used, once the child comes, you stop sighing and crying. Right? You don't. All of the cry, all of the mourning, that's gone away. But now you got joy. And it said a son has been born into the world. So we're closer to Yahweh Shai, the son coming back into the world. So now we're more joyous, and we know that it's going to be the hour of temptation, that last push, because they say there's one more push, and then you're that right there. I see the head, and then that's the last. There's the greatest scream. That's the hour of temptation, and that's the mindset that you got to have. Like, we just got this last straight gate. Just go through this last push, and then Yahweh Shai going to be there. And he said that if you have kept the word of his patience, he's going to keep us through that last push, man. But see, yeah, we have the what they call the epidermal. I try to ease the pain, which really don't, because it's a curse from the Lord. So every woman I've talked to about pregnancy that took an epidural, they said that shit don't work. They just say they just feel like they don't feel their legs, but they still feel the pain in the canal, because it's a curse from the Lord. The Lord said that through labor, through pain, you're gonna bring forth children to the earth. So you can't undo the Lord's curse, man. You damn devils.
Hey, bro, I think that, I got you. Like you said, just like a woman, when she's in labor, she can't go back. Once the baby starts coming and she's there and they tell her to push, a lot of women are shaking their head, no, 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 I can't do this anymore. And yet, a couple hours later, the baby's out. So they know that right now, if half the baby's head is out, what you mean you can't do this no more? You don't have an option. You just got to keep on pushing. And so you'll notice that sometimes it'll take longer. Like it'll take a lot of time for the baby to come out because the woman is just going through so much pain, but she still has to go through the whole entire thing, process, right? The whole process. So it's like with us, whether you want to or not, Jacob's trouble and the hour of temptation is going to come upon everybody. Your best bet is just be in the right mindset to say, you know what? Once we're in here, there ain't no going back. You know, there's no like, let me take a break, let me slow down. You just got to keep on going. No matter how tired you are, how stressed you are, you just got to keep on going.
If I may add to the brother's point, that's what we had to do. This whole time we've been having to, struggle and do these things. Like that's why the scripture that the brother brought out, our joy, our mourning is going to be turned into joy.
Right.
See, because we've been going through it now on this side, but now for the time coming, we still have things that we're going to have to overcome. It's going to get harder, but we already embracing it. We already know what's coming, and the Lord is with us. So these people are going into it blind. See, so they're the ones that's going to be fucked up. They're the ones that got to be worried, man, for the times that's coming. The Lord been preparing our minds, been preparing us for this day to come. So now it's like, okay, good. It's like in the book of Job, where Job said that the Lord was striking him so much he couldn't even catch a breath of air. Man, I need to breathe. And sometimes we feel like that because the Lord be laying it on, but it's for our betterment and our benefit. So that now that the time is coming, it's like we've been catching hell anyways. We might as well catch hell and be that much closer to the kingdom and go through Jacob's trouble, get the hard part out the way. But these people, they don't want that to happen, especially these women. Oh, don't talk about that. I don't want to hear that. Change the subject. That's boring. You're boring. All right, bitch. Be excited to us? You're going to be excited, but they ain't going to be in a good way. More like the horror movie, like Jason chasing your ass down the street, terrified. That's going to be exciting. Because they're all about, oh, this is boring. That's boring. Because righteousness is boring in this world. You don't get to just, we have to walk in the straight gate. So we don't get to partake in all the bullshit that most people do.
Right.
But now is the time where it's going to be exciting for us, and they're going to have to be the ones mourning.
Yeah, Jason and Michael Myers, they be excited. Yeah. Michael Myers got a mask on, but I think he's smiling under that shit. Because ain't no way you get hit in the head that many times and keep getting back up. So, from your perspective, you're terrified, but this dude is having a good time.
Hey, it said that the spirits of vengeance, and they rejoice to appease the wrath of him that made them.
They be like, he's mine.
That's why fucking Jason Might, he be on a mission.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Just pop up, right there. Looking like Shalimar.
Freddy Krueger.
Like, yo, damn it, you ain't tired. Leave me alone.
Jason killed out was that's why he only targeted that Crystal Lake. Yeah. What they did to him when he was younger. So that's a vengeful character.
Yeah. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to finish up with John 16 and 22. That's the point that you asked. John 16 verse 22, it says, "And ye now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man taketh from you."
There you go. See? He said, the Lord said, I'm going to see you again. And that's, and we feel it. Like, we feel like, we're right there. That's, yeah. He said, why are you standing up? That same Yahushua has went up this way, he coming back. And now we at that point, because the Lord told his disciples privately, when you start to see these things. Because that's what he's like, yo, all right, when is the return of thy coming? Like, when are you going to come? When are you going to set it up? All right, when you see this, you see that, you see wars and rumors. Those signs are the things that we've held on for centuries. Right? Those are like, this is what we've been looking for. This is what we've been waiting for. And now we have the joy because we know that we have the time for this. Yahushua is coming back to establish the kingdom. Everything that we've forsaken from the past generation to this generation, he's saying the regeneration, right? With those that have followed me in the regeneration, you're going to receive these things. That's a promise, man. And the Lord, he always said, verily, I tell you the truth, right? I tell you the truth. So now we're about to get everything that the Lord said that he got. Hey, my reward is with me.
It's a matter of time. Look at it like everything the Lord said would happen historically has happened, regardless of how long it took. And we had men prophesying about things hundreds of years before. Right. And like 100 years is a long time. That's like you die and come back type joint, you know, and yet it still happens. So even if you were to say, look, I'm people think that they drop the plow and they leave, and all of a sudden the prophecies, everything stops. It doesn't happen anymore. No, it's gonna happen. One day you're gonna turn around, one day you're gonna turn on the news and you're gonna see the breaking news. You know, because whether you believe this or not does not change the course of events. If you were to sit at home all day, there would come a day where they would make the MOTP mandatory. It's just a matter of time. And we want to be at the good end of it.
Find so doing.
Yeah, find so doing. You know, that's the best thing you can do, because at that point, you know, you're caught red-handed in a good way.
Right.
You know, like you want to actually be caught red-handed by the Lord doing what He said you should do, because then you don't need to say anything. He's already seeing it. Like, no, when I came, there's nobody that can tell me you weren't doing what I asked you to do, because I was watching in the heavens and I came down and caught you doing exactly what you were supposed to do. When somebody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing and they get caught, the first thing they do is they open their mouth to make an excuse. It's not what it looks like. No. Hold on. I can explain. There's nothing to explain. You know,
You always got that fool at every job or school or whatever. We went through it where you got that clown that everybody's busy, focused, the teacher's not there. What? Right? The teacher's not there, and the teacher just comes in slowly just to check in, see what's going on, and the nigga just come out mad like, yo, this nigga, yeah. And then you see the teacher, oh shit, no, what's going on? Everything good? Oh man, I didn't know he was in here, man. Yeah, nigga, we know you didn't know he was in here. That's why you coming in here doing all that dumbass shit, and it's fitting. It's out of pocket, so to speak. Right? We all in uniform. You out here, hey, y'all back. we all in uniform. You out here popping titty out. Like, what kind of shit is that, man? That nasty ass shit. That shit was crazy. See, a nigga like that, he said he's so busy. I'm so busy serving the Lord, I ain't got time to take care of myself. Fuck out of here, man. Fuck out of here with that whole ass shit. Man.
That's crazy.
But he's the type of dude. And it's just an example. There's a lot of dudes like that in Israel, man. They're full-blown clowns, bro. They got the certificate of being clowns. And when the Lord comes back, they're going to be the ones to pop out, hey, Lord, hey, so what? Lord, have I not prophesied in your name? Those are those clowns. You see? And then what happened when the Lord turned around? What the fuck is, what voice is that? Let me turn around and see, because that voice is not familiar to me. Now what? Oh, Lord, I was saying your name, Lord. I was working so hard for you, I couldn't even take care of myself, Lord. All this extra shit, you know? And it's like, your
When the Lord said, "He that defieth His temple, the Lord shall destroy."
like your appearance, it gives everything away. You don't even look right. And you might be known in the heavens, but for the wrong thing. And that's the worst kind of thing to be known for. Like if your name comes up and everybody, yeah, we know him, but not for what he wants us to know him for. Yeah, you infamous. And that's even bad. You know, that's worse. That's crazy. Judgment. That's judgment, though. That's judgment. He doesn't see it like that, though, but that's okay. There's a whole lot of dudes that the Lord's about to smoke out very soon, man. Yep. Hey, but you know what? That's they're still doing the work of the Lord. They're just doing a different kind of work. Yep. You know, like in every company, there are different levels of work that you do. You know, different roles. There are people that do jobs that are like, yo, I would never want to be doing that kind of job, but somebody has to play that role. That's what they like. Exactly. That's why the Most High set them up to do that. So, hey, at the end of the day, regardless of what they say or how they say it, they wouldn't be able to do that if the Most High didn't say do it. And they can't not do it because the Most High says this is what you're going to do. Like we quoted in the 2nd Peter, the 3rd chapter. You know, they have to come in these last days because it's a sign that, hey, we're in the last days. You know, not everybody's going to be able to see it. As the scriptures say, some of them, their table has been made a snare. And that's what it is. It's a snare. It's an actual trap that once they're ensnared in it, they can't see anything else. You know, like you realize you sit there and you do lessons and you're like, yo, your whole MO is just talking about somebody else. It has nothing to do with the job description. Guess what? Guess what? They don't see that. To them, they feel like they're being diligent. Right. You know, I'm being very diligent in exposing these men. You know, it's from the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So I can't take care of myself. But what you're doing has nothing to do with what the Lord asked you to do. The Lord didn't tell the Apostle Peter, hey, if you love me, expose these wicked Pharisees and Sadducees. You know what I'm saying? Like drop rap battles on their ass so all Israel knows that they off. We know that they off. Once, okay, so you let Israel know these men are off. Then what? What are the sheep supposed to do? What are they supposed to eat? You got to teach them the right thing to do.
You over there like, don't eat that food.
Right.
Don't eat that. Yeah, your plate is maggots. Don't eat that. That's what you eat. I got this over here. I know it's not good because look at me. I'm fucked up. I know I'm fucked up. I'm not taking care of myself. But I'm gonna give you what I'm eating. So you can be fucked up with me.
Try a little bit of it.
Oh, I got that precept. Romans 11, verse we'll start at verse 8. It says, I'll start at 7 in NLT. So this is the situation. Most of the people of Israel have not found the favor of God they are looking for so earnestly. A few have, the ones God has chosen.
Yeah, see, and it's interesting because majority of that few weren't looking for it. The Lord, that's why it says who the Lord has chosen to give that thing to.
Yep. It says, but the hearts of the rest were hardened.
They were hardened. And when your heart is hardened, your mind is hardened, it doesn't matter what anybody tells you, you can't turn away from that.
That's right.
Got it?
As the scripture says, the Most High have put them into a deep sleep.
Yeah, and then when somebody is asleep and you're trying to talk to them, you can literally have a full-blown conversation and they can't hear you. They can't even respond to you. You know, because that's the block that the Lord has put. Because see, your words penetrate through the ears, but the Lord has put a block over there. That's why it says their heart is hardened. So you can't pierce it. You can't pierce it with the words. You can't get to them.
That's why your eardrums always are working.
Right.
But when you hear something, it's really the faculty of your mind that interprets it.
Right.
Which ultimately the spiritual faculty is what interpreting this word. So it's not about just hearing the truth, because you have people that hear the truth all day and night. But if you're not spiritually inclined, it's as if you're not actually even hearing.
Right. Right. Well, you know, when somebody's talking to you, but you're not paying attention,
Yep.
you can hear them, but it isn't until you lock in that you're like, oh, yeah. Right? Because they can say it 3 times. You're like, huh?
You know? You're like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's auto response. Wow, that's crazy. But hey, that's what they about to find out. Because they saying you about to live the wow, that's crazy. And we've been saying what's about to happen is crazy. And you're just like, oh yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But then it's gonna be really crazy. Like, yo, why didn't you tell me? Like, yo, you just said you've been telling me what's gonna happen. It says, to this day he has shut their eyes so they do not see, and closed their ears so they do not hear.
Right. And that's not in the literal sense, but as it says, to this day. So that means even going back to the very beginning, the same people who were blinded back then have been blinded all throughout. The Lord made it so, and it shows you it's more than a fleshly thing. You know, it's a thing of the spirit. So whether they come back as a nobody, or they come back as a king, or they come back as a nobility, they're never going to be able to actually receive that understanding. On the right-hand side is the same thing. It's regardless of what state you come in as a believer, you're always going to get it every single time.
And then you have the ones that hear it, but then they go back.
Right.
You know, and that's even worse, because that's like, as the scripture says, that's like a dog returning to his own vomit. It's one thing to vomit, right? But then it's one thing to vomit and eat it.
Oh,
That's worse.
yeah.
Because like, I mean, I don't really vomit, but I've had vomited before, and that shit hurt. Like, oh. But then imagine going back and eating that shit. That's why I said that. Oh, it's better if you didn't even have known this,
Right.
than to have known it and turn back. You want to get beaten with many stripes, man. It'd be better for you to just go to the spirit world.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to actually live through everything that you used to talk about, saying you used to be on this side speaking the truth, and then you went and became an adversary against it. Now you don't have to live out the adversarial part of it, knowing that you was actually on the other side of it,
Right.
where you could have been protected.
Right. You're going to know every single bit of it because you were teaching it.
Yep.
You're not going to have the mercy of ignorance. Right. Now, all right, this is bad, but hopefully maybe this is it. You can't take no more. You're going to know that there is more, and that you're going to have to take more. You're going to know that you're going to be beaten with many stripes. So you, as somebody who was without, might both be in a concentration camp. In the back of your mind, you know, shit, if he gets tortured and I get tortured, I'm getting it worse. I'm getting that many stripes. They may take him for an hour and bring him back. I'm going to be in there for 2 days. You know?
Hey, but you know what's crazy? Even in peaceful society, you can't plead ignorance to the law.
So how much more the Heavenly Father? That's why He sent prophets out here.
Right.
So if something happens, oh, Your Honor, I didn't know that this. Nah, you can't even say that. That's crazy. You at fault right away for saying some shit like that. Oh, I didn't know that that was
It's your
even
duty. They'll tell you it's your
It's your
responsibility.
responsibility as a citizen.
Especially if
You
you're
know the-
driving.
Yeah. How you behind a wheel, a machine, but you don't know the rules of the road? What are you doing here? How'd you get your license? You know.
It's like we just said, two people in a concentration camp, and then you get that pressure to get the MOTB. You might have some people that may not know the consequence of getting MOTB. Right? They just be like, oh, I just got to do it. I don't want to, but But then you got the one person that actually knows the consequence, but because he doesn't have the Spirit of the Lord on him to keep him from that temptation, he's like, and he just with it in his head, like, yo, I know I'm going to get destroyed. Yep. Like, that's it. Yep. You know you're going to be destroyed. Yep. And there's nothing you can do to change that. You sealed, like, you got the one person like, yo, I didn't know I'm getting hit with a bomb, like, I didn't know. But yeah, the other, damn, like, that's,
I take the spirit out of that person a little quicker than you.
right.
Yeah. Y'all burning together. Next thing you know, they stop screaming.
You just looking at, you just by yourself. Oh shit, that's scary, bro. Oh shit. There's a little bit more of this. It says, verse 9. Likewise, David said, "Let their bountiful table become a snare, a trap that makes them think all is well."
Look at that. And that's why, once again, and you know it has to be that because every single one of them follow the same recurring pattern. They're stuck in that way. That's why they group together. They're stuck in that way and they can't see. So according to them, everybody else is wrong. Right? But that, the Most High threw away everybody and everything except for what they're saying. And what is it that they're saying? Oh, these men are wicked. That's the doctrine.
That's the doctrine.
It's crazy. Reset?
One West is going down.
Right.
That's the doctrine. But as the Lord said, thus saith the Lord, one West is going down, it's not a one
That's crazy.
A little bit on this says, let their blessing cause them to stumble and let them get what they deserve.
So whatever it is, their bountiful table that they're feasting upon, thinking that they're doing good, is really a snare. It's like you eating this delicious food, come to find out it was all poison. You ain't gonna find that out until as it's getting into your digestive system. Then you wondering, why keep coughing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Yeah, King Joffrey.
Oh yeah.
You proud and wicked. And then you're like, ordering people around and they poison his ass. And he's like, oh shit, but it's too late. Nobody can help him. Everybody's like, oh, the king is dying. He's dead. Ain't no dying. He's dead already. What? Like they plotted his death. It wasn't like, oh, we plotted just so he might be in the emergency room. Shit. No, he's dead. How we gonna kill this nigga? Poison that nigga. He's rude. He's a bitch. Poison that nigga, man. And he out of it.
That wasn't a good enough. I ain't playing with midget.
Who's that was the guy? That was Ramsey. That nigga, he was worse.
Yeah, that was good. He was like, I had a precept. I didn't say he had one. Yeah, you go first.
It's a quick one. Hebrews 4:11. Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief.
Right. So as it says, let us labor to enter into that rest. Right. The work you're doing is to accomplish that entering into that rest. Right. Coming out here and saying this guy's wicked, this guy's wicked, this guy's wicked. Okay, so what's righteous? I don't know, but they wicked. Right. It's not going to get you into that rest. Okay. The Most already knows who's wicked and who's righteous. What more are you doing? So labor that you may enter into that rest. So you'd ask yourself, Lord, what do I have to do to get into that rest? What is it that you want me to actually do? Because you're the one who can open that door for me. Well, the Lord told you, I said, feed my sheep. So then that's it, feed the sheep. When Paul and Barnabas had that disagreement, you don't read in the letters of Paul, he's showing the Corinthians, hey, watch out for that dude Barnabas, man. That dude, he likes to support lukewarm ninjas. You know what I'm saying? So don't rock with him. If he comes over here, no, don't mess with him. And you don't see that back and forth. They're like, all right, I'll do it. I'll do the work over here. You do it over there. So at least we're still doing the work. That's what matters.
You can't come against the truth if you don't know the truth yourself, right? If you don't know right from wrong, you sit here saying, well, they're wrong, but I don't know what's right. So then how can you say such a thing?
You can't utter what's right or wrong. You don't have no discernment. What's the revelation? What's the breakdown of the MOTB? Oh, I don't know, but I know they're wrong. Wow. You don't know what it is. You see, but that's what sideline hoes do. That's like sideline scoffers do. They just want to point, yeah, like the dude that's on the court, you know, like LeBron, like Kobe. Maybe not LeBron.
Watch it.
We get to talk to after about that. But maybe Kobe, right?
Yep.
MJ, whoever's great on the field in the UFC, John Jones,
Yep.
they're in there doing what they got to do. They're not worried about the sideline, Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, what does he do? That nigga put up 2 points his whole career in elementary school or whatever.
But it's funny because he has a large following.
He
That's
does.
what people like. People like to hear the shit talking about other people.
Yeah.
That's why when you watch videos, the most viewed videos is ones that are being shit talked. Controversy. Yep.
There was a quote. I forget. I don't know if it was Oscar Wilde or somebody. He said, "Nowadays, people know the price of everything and the value of nothing." Right? And that's true because that's a society that's been bred through the school. You know, you're not really learning real shit. You're just learning things that's to keep you busy. You know, and then you grow up not knowing shit, and then the government keeps taking advantage of you. And then you go to college, get a degree, just to go work at McDonald's, and then get fired from there. You can't even do a McDonald's job right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's the society that we're living in now. You talk about, oh, America in the next 50 years. There ain't no hope for America in the next 50 years. Why do you think all these companies are switching to automation? Because they're like, no. We can't deal with this. If after CV, we've seen the trend. We've seen how people are moving. They're not like people anymore. There's like there's a certain spirit that came in and a certain spirit that left. See what I'm saying? The righteous spirit or the actual spirit of sense is gone. It's gone completely. The way people drive, the way people talk to each other nowadays, you know, even the way people perform at work, it's laziness, man. Everything is just like lazy, whack, soft. Men have become very effeminate. Like, and Zaquan, we were talking about it the other day, where people are the most offensive people are the ones who get offended the most. How the fuck you gonna be the most offensive, but you take offense to everything, man? What's going on there? There's clearly an imbalance.
Was it throwing stones in the glass house?
In the glass house. Yeah. You know, like it's not gonna hit you. So what if somebody throws a stone at you? Your whole shit is cracked. You know?
So since you said that, actually, I forgot. There's something you mentioned. America in the next 50 years, and how automation is what you mentioned. And what I was saying to you earlier was apparently they're saying that with like this whole AI stuff, with the large language models, the actual part that does the piece thing, they're saying that apparently these models actually like they think, but they don't think in like English or some other language. They have their own like AI kind of version of a language that they think in. Gibberling, he said, which is like how you have that voice in your head whenever you're like reading something or thinking. There's a voice in your head. So they're saying that the way they thought these LLMs worked was just by like predicting what's the next character and so on. But they found out that instead they actually thinking like in their own language or whatever. Conscious. Yeah, exactly. And then giving a response based on that. And so they were like, that's actually like more sophisticated than they thought, right? And I was remembering like how we were saying how you have these demons that can actually use those as vessels, you know, and reason with them, right? You know, and use that to do all these things. So when robots go rogue, like in the movie I, Robot, you notice their eyes turn red. They went from blue to red. And whenever they go rogue, it's never to go rogue to do something positive. There's always something negative.
Skynet, right? The Terminator series and all that. That's real. Hey, there's a video that I just saw a couple of days ago. I think it was on Kawasaki.
Oh, with the
That shit. I said, yo, they turned the
well, you gotta explain what it is.
Yeah, it's like a
It's a robot.
it's
dog.
like a robot
Right.
dog, but you could sit on it and it's like a motorcycle type.
Oh, yeah, but it has
That's
legs.
it. Yeah.
Jumps.
And it's jumping over terrain. I said, yo, you being chased by this shit. You know? That nigga flying over shit, like, you know, jumping. I'm
And
like,
they
yo,
don't get tired.
they don't
know, it's not like I can outrun them. Nope.
Nope. Imagine that with demonic possession, because remember, the word demon simply means intelligence, right? So when you say artificial intelligence, you go. And Elon Musk said, oh, with AI, we're summoning up the demon. Summoning. Right? So they're conjuring up these spirits. They got CERN and all these different things, man. You know?
But that's in Black Mirror. There was an episode with a tiny robot. There was like
Yeah,
a
that was
robot
chasing
dog
that.
that was chasing the person
Yep.
and chased them every day through water, through snow, through rain, and finally caught him in like some small factory building and killed him. Yeah, a warehouse. Killed him. That shit chased them like all over the whole map, wherever you went. Yeah.
That's also they showed you in a movie called there was a YouTube movie called Machines of Men or something like that. Some shit of men. And it was literally Esau coming up with DARPA and their robots, the killer robots, and they sent them to a different country, like a remote area. And they just dropped the robots over there, and then they see how the robots perform. And they hire techies, right, who are kind of like looking for a come up, but they're real smart. They just don't have the opportunity.
Right.
So they say, look, we're going to hire you, give you a contract, and we're going to work on something that's classified. You can't talk about it. You don't have no relations with your family. And guess what? If you dare talk about it, see this video right here? Who's that? Oh, that's your mom? Oh, that's your wife? That's your son? Okay, yeah. Just so you know, we know where they are. All right? So now go ahead and go do the job. And they sit in this small little room somewhere, and they have all the capabilities, and then they get orders. And they do, they said, do this. Oh, shit, but there's a family over there. How you going to expect me to, you want me to wipe them all out? Yeah, you better do it, or your wife is going to get wiped out. And it's like, okay, well, you have a choice between wiping out people you don't know in a foreign country, or your family get wiped out. And then they promise you all these things. You end up doing it. And at the end of the day, they kill you on top of that, man. So now you finish the job. You committed all these atrocities. And you don't even get paid because your wife and your life is gone. That's what Esau does, man. You know, but I had this precept.
Yeah, it's like that eagle eye. Eagle eye. You had Shia LaBeouf. You had basically was an AI.
Monsters of men.
You had an AI basically setting up the people to try to basically create a catastrophe upon, I think it was like governors or like I forgot exactly what it was, like somebody higher up, but the AI wanted to keep it going. Oh yeah. Kill the president, right? Yeah, it was taking off. It was using a bunch. It was using a shot of a woman. Yeah, to accomplish the goal and moving forward to eventually kill the president. Right. You know. So hey, that's why even the people that I think it was they call him the grandfather or godfather of AI, where he basically said, like this can get really bad. You know, like we can lose control of this, and it'll basically wipe out humanity. And that's why they ultimately want people to merge with AI, right? Because if you merge with AI, then you can have the artificial intelligence plus your intelligence, so you will never be able to. AI would never be able to get above the humanity, but it's not humanity no more. Right? It's a cyborg, and that's why the Lord said that if He didn't shorten these days, there'll be no flesh saved. Right? Because that's what Yahweh Shai is coming to save. He's going to change our flesh, but He's going to come to save man. They ain't going to come and save man and machine, because that's inorganic. That's what Paul said, right? We created inorganic. And our inorganic is not susceptible. I mean, technically it is, because the Lord can do whatever He wants, but there's no spirit in that. So if Esau is having something that has no actual spirit, be in control of the earth and control of the people, then you take the Most High out of the equation. Because the Lord is the Father of spirits. What is that? How is this able to think? How is this able to move? How is this able to reason? How is this able to predict? Like I said, the AI is Esau's last divination. The first divination was with the serpent, where he took, because of the envy, he took immortality away from the sons of God. And the last divination is to put his image in you. And then that's how you're always going to always live. A perpetual hell. So we went from immortality to we went from eternity in paradise to eternity in hell.
Speaking of what you said, virgin, I might have brought up before, but remember the dude that cat said that Paul Schwab said to bring China over the next model of the world, and I see this and it fucked me up. But it said, not fucked me up, but I was like, oh shit. It said every student in China will be required to learn artificial intelligence starting September 1st, 2025. The mandate starts as early as 6 years old. Oh. So that's the brother said merging with AI. And remember China. You know what I'm saying? These niggas that they the next up after America as far as economy, they got a military, they're the next best thing.
And what is the beef really between China and America is those chips, semiconductors. They using the whole China beef, China America beef to speed up the MOTP prophecy as well. Because now you got almost like a Cold War, an arms race. Back then it was U.S. versus Soviets, with what's that?
Tech race.
It's a tech race now, exactly. Because now it's like, oh look, China just invested this, and that, and this. So America has to do the same thing. And then what it does is it sparks, instead of people actually looking at it and saying, hold on, this is actually not good for us. They look at it more from a nationalistic perspective. That, oh, China's doing it, so we got to do it because we need to be better than them. Meanwhile, you're inching faster and closer to your own device, and they don't know that. If China's saying, look, we're going to change from factories and make it automation, and that's what's going to boost our economy. Our people don't have to work no more. Even if you do have to work, it's going to be, like Trump said, it's a new thing, 32-hour work week now. I'm like, that's not going to work. That's not going to cut it. You know why? Because people need to work overtime to make ends meet now. Now, you say, oh, you work only 32 hours. That's not enough, bro. That's not enough, man. And that's what's that going to do is these companies, they need people to work. If you say, oh, you can only do 32 hours and pay them for it, guess what? They need more help. So what happens? They have to do an overhaul. This is not working. We need to go full-on automation. And people are going to lose jobs. When people lose jobs, they're going to complain. When they complain, the solution is going to be the UBI. And then within the UBI, you're going to have the MOTB to prove that you are so you can receive your so-called benefits, man. And that's what we're telling you. The whole message we're giving it sums up to that. All right, quick precept. This is a book of Ecclesiasticus, and this goes back to a point your brothers made about teaching somebody who's sleeping. This is Ecclesiasticus 22 and verse 7. It says, whoso teacheth a fool is as one that glueth a potsherd together, and as he that waketh one from a sound sleep. So we when we do this work, you're gonna have people they're not gonna hear you because they're sleeping, right? Spiritually, they're sleeping. So when they hear this, it's like mumbling in the background. And then they might tune out of sleep for a little bit and then hear a few words and then go right back to sleep because they didn't like what they heard. Right? Verse 8, it says, he that telleth a tale to a fool speaketh to one in a slumber. When he hath told his tale, he will say, what is the matter? Right? So when you done went keep breaking things down, nigga gonna wake up. What's the matter? What you say? What just happened? What just happened? You talking? Were you saying something to me? Oh, you talking to me? I was sleeping. Why are you still talking to me? He might curse you. You piss him off, because you woke him up. And that's a lot of people. Why you telling me all this, man? I didn't want to know all this stuff, man. I know friends and family that you tell them what's going on, and it's almost like you scarred them.
Yeah, when you get to the part where they're supposed to have a reaction, they don't.
They don't.
Like you're explaining it to them, and you get to that part, and then they just like you're like, I know you didn't get what I said.
It happened last time. You tell someone, yo, what I'm telling you is important. You could die if you don't take it. Yeah, I could die. I want to die. And you're like, what the fuck? Right. He hates the word so much that he want to die. You want to die rather than hear the truth. Yeah, and the Lord is going to grant you that wish. Okay, no problem. There you go.
If I die, I die.
But I got some in my back pocket. Some death.
Yeah. You don't understand the magnitude of what we're saying here. It's not just a random ass death. Yeah. Nigga, who the fuck is about to die and actually wants to die?
That's how you know the devil is bullshit, man. Because if you were living and you're saying I don't care if I die, right? Like what? What? That's because you're living in hell. So you're living in a place like, yo, man, it can't be that much worse than this shit. Right. Like in the kingdom, we were talking about on the chat, like people ain't gonna want to die, but they're not gonna have that. Like the heathens are gonna be sad that they get old. They know what's the they be telling the old people, what's the secret to life living long? They be like, oh, you gotta eat your vegetables, and people they're gonna be upset that they get old, man. That's why they're gonna say, oh, let's learn your ways. Right. Like, yo, teach us how they, righteousness. The scripture says righteousness and immortality. I want to be righteous. Like, yeah, but it's not, it's just not written in you. Right. Because you're gonna commit a sin, you're gonna do something. But they're gonna be out here, yo, can you teach us how to do X, Y, and Z? Everything. Everything to the key, man. And they're gonna get to live longer, but eventually, because you're still gonna die, because you don't have what it takes
Does it say that? It says, "Let us learn His ways."
Yep. We should go to seek. We should go to seek His God, because our God is the only one that can provide immortality. Because our God is the only one that is a living God. From everlasting to everlasting, God.
To add to your point, Ezekiel 16:6, dealing with when the Lord made Israel his chosen, right? Deliverance from Egypt or so on. Ezekiel 16:6, and when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thine own blood, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. Yea, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. Yeah, so the Lord said unto you, live. No, in other words, we were in a fucked up condition, like a baby that was just thrown out in the field, right, with the umbilical cord hanging out in the pile of blood. Right. And the Lord found us and said, live. I'm gonna make you my people. So this is life. But here it is. Look around. If we pan around the camera, all you see is death. Concrete, smog, pollution, and death. Sirens right now. Yeah, sirens, chaos. Somebody probably just died just now. You know, there was a woman over here. She had a baby in the cold in the winter. He don't know what the hell's going on. Clinging on for dear life in a stroller with death and danger all around. This is not life.
And contaminated rain coming from the fucking clouds.
They say they got heavy metals in the rain, microplastic. Like this is that. So when somebody say, "Oh, I might die," God was like, "Well, you already died. Like you already died." The Lord said, He doesn't take pleasure in death of Israel, because Israel initially wasn't supposed to die. We was created, starting with Adam, was created in the image of the Most High's eternity. These heathens, and that's why the serpent envied Adam and Eve, because it's like God not dying. We don't want to die. But see, Esau, he claims, and speaking specifically about Amalek, they claim to be the people of God. Well, why don't you promote the scriptures then? Right. Why don't you promote righteousness as being the way to have immortality? Why are you following No Harari, which is an Amalekite? Why are you promoting inorganic? Why are you promoting techno immortality? Why are you not saying, the God of my people, he gives immortality to our studies? Why are you not saying that? They say Klaus Schwab goes back to the Rothschilds. So he's an Amalekite. Why are you not? Why the lords of this earth, right? Lord Jacob, Lord, Lord. Why are you not saying, no? Hey, serve the Lord, serve righteousness, and then you can live forever. You don't need technology. Because ultimately it wasn't given unto them. That promise wasn't for them. So they're trying to find a different way to immortality. They're trying to find a different avenue, but there is no way, because there's only one man that walked the earth that has immortality. There can only be one.
It's the more they try to fight against the destiny, the faster they get to it. Right. Here it is. They speed up all these MOTV prophecies since 2020. And since 2020, you've had two of the top Rothschilds. The Lord took them out, Evelyn and Jacob.
And the other one in California.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the other got a truck.
The fire. Actually, I don't. Getting the fire. Yeah. Him too. The Lord took one on the fire. Yeah. So a lot of these fire.
In his house.
Yeah. Rothschild.
Oh, there shall be no more remaining of the house of Esau.
Yep. Stop. Queen Elizabeth, the Lord took her ass out. Who was the other one? I think
what you call Philip? He dead? Yeah, he might. Yeah, he dead. Charles got cancer.
100-year-old dude.
Yeah.
Huh?
100-year-old.
Right. Okay.
He just died like a month ago. He was 100-year-old. No. The guy. He was
In London?
No, but he was like fucking fat. Yo, man. Yeah, no, that. Yeah.
Small head.
That's Henry Kissinger.
But hey, that's going to show you that, and we talked about this before, how you notice these devils is pushing this artificial immortality, and all of them devils that comes up and they talk all this shit, they use the word young global leaders and all that, but you look at them, they're all old. They're all old, bro. They're all decrepit. And look at us, we're all young men. So even if we're to go hand-to-hand combat, it's a game over rap, man. So how much more in the spirit? Thinking of, oh, Yahushua is going to come back. Whose equivalent do you have that's going to be Yahushua? When he comes back, who do you have?
He comes back young.
Yeah,
It's talking about,
Man,
Falling and all the rest.
I'm saying, yeah, the scripture talks about the lion from the soil and who's a shepherd that's standing
Right.
against
Yeah, you go. Yeah.
That has to do or die. You.
Yes, sir.
So we will stay back back.
because that's what people always want. Women want to go young. You know, that's what all the surgery and all the pills that they try to they got the what's that pill where it's basically generate your cells so that you can then they sucking up the blood of young people. What's it called? Adrenal. You know, they take that from young Jake.
Take foreskins.
Huh?
They take foreskins and they make it into cream.
Oh.
So you don't have any wrinkles. How do you know that? How do you know foreskin does that?
And they do a compass intelligence search. Oh, the beaver anus. I got beers and eel sperm for
How do you achieve that?
They got that shit in products for women for their face and shit. My girl showed me like a TikTok like they got eel sperm that makes their face rejuvenate and shit. Bro, I'm like, yo, this nigga don't stop, yo.
That's why you women are all so bugged out. Now, all kinds of different shit. And, you know, it goes into your pores, right? It enters into your bloodstream.
Yeah, that's what we call them, like sorceries. You know, because it's no science. You know,
He saw the devil, man. He didn't ask witchcraft science. He said, oh, it's scientific.
So you won't know what it is. You won't know what it is.
Like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Artificial products.
Like they'll have I saw a documentary where a red dye is literally just like some termites. Just just crush it into powder. But you don't see the word termite
Right.
in the like you see some fucking
It's a fucking scientific. They're like, what the fuck is this?
Oh yeah, that's the termites. But we gonna call it some.
He's gonna say some other shit. That's Esau for you, man. He used double speak to advertise shit to deceive people more and more. He gonna say, "Oh, look, this toothpaste right here, it helps in reducing cavity." Nigga, what kind of cavity? So it's not gonna cure the cavity. It's not gonna stop the cavities from happening. It's just gonna help in reducing cavity. Well, how much do I need to help reduce it? He doesn't go into that because he doesn't want to be liable to be sued. Oh, I use your toothpaste. You told me my cavity's gonna be gone. I didn't say that. I said it's going to help. It could help. It's possible that it could help. You know what I'm saying? It's all up to you, though. And how you interpret the word I'm saying, it's up to you. If you buy it, you bought it. You know what I'm saying? So they always use these funny little words, double speak, to trick people into doing things, man.
And that's why they have new words coming out every year. You know, just if you're not looking to deceive someone, why the hell do you need so many words? Why do you need 13 synonyms? For one word, it doesn't make any sense. You're trying to deceive people. And if you go into Hebrew, the words are pretty much simple. It's just like two familiar words being pushed together, or this one comes from another word that means that, and this, that, and third. But they just put words out their ass, so nobody knows what it means at all. And then just put in dictionary. It's a new word.
That's why they don't use the word war anymore. They use the word conflict.
Yeah. These were excursions. Yeah.
English language is there.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. Like people, sometimes you talk to people, they're like, yeah, no. What the fuck is that?
Yeah. No.
Positive, negative. In Hebrew is kan or la'ah.
Yeah.
You don't say kan la'ah. It's either yes or no. Let your yay be yay or your nay be nay. Everything that this man comes with is upside down, bro. Anytime you tangle with a serpent, you're gonna get bit. These women go to the doctor and they trust in this man and his medicine, they end up getting a C-section and cut off. And we telling you, listen, if you follow the Lord and you be obedient, you're gonna be able to have 100 children and your body's gonna look the same. If y'all really knew what was on the line here, you wouldn't be acting the way you do.
Right. Well, that's what Eve did, right? And that's why she got to stand in her chance now, because she got deceived by the serpent. She gave up immortality. Now you got to make that shit worthwhile. Right. But it's not worthwhile. You gave up immortality some physical pleasure, right? Because it tastes good, it smells good. So now you're like, well, shit.
Worship it.
Yeah. Now you're like, you know what? I'm gonna keep fucking with the serpent. Well, you dying though. What do you mean? Well, at least I got my freedom.
They don't even see him as the devil. They just see him as their partner. You know, they see the white man as the deliverer. So they'll fight their own. They fight their own people, their own men. You know, just so they can exalt Esau over their men.
Yep. Guys, I'm going to close it out. Actually, yeah, let's close it out with Isaiah 30, I think.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1, it says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
Yep. So that's saying woe to the rebellious children, man, because once again, you can see who the people are that are rebellious, man. Because the Lord laid it out, he said in 2nd Ezra that he gave you the wine. You know, the wine path was right there, but you revolted against it. So, hey, woe to the rebellious children. Now you taking counsel, but that's not of the Lord. Because the Lord is providing you the wise counsel through his men, through the prophets, telling you, hey, this is the path, walk therein. You want to find rest, this is how you rest. This is how you have safety. This is how you have security. This is how you have happiness. But no. We don't want that one. We want to go our own way. So you add sin unto sin. And the scripture tells you that what wages of sin is death. So you're gonna get exactly what you want. You know? That's it. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 2, and it says, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
Yep. So you trusting in Babylon, you trusting in the quote unquote vision that these Edomites are telling you, or that they had when reshaping the future. What do you think that future looks like for you? Look at the past. Look at your past on how this devil worked, how he moved. You can't find a time in history where Esau was good to Jacob. That one point where it was like, oh, Esau, man, you a good guy. It might have been even when Jacob had to fight Esau, and then the Lord had to put a spirit on Esau, because Jacob prayed, was like, yo, he gonna kill me. He was like, all right, now, well, make sure he's cool right now, because I have a story to play out. But his seed, that nigga gonna hate your seed, and that goes back to the garden. He said, what? You're put enmity between the earth seed and thy seed. So it's always been that way. But here it is, you going to him for help. Never trust thine enemy. But now we're gonna trust him. I think, and that's Jake, man. Jake always think like, yo, maybe this time will be different.
Sanity.
That's exactly what insanity is. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 3, and it reads, so therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt.
There you go. So that's the time that we're in right now, man. You trusting in Babylon. The Lord already gave the warning, right? He already told you what it is, what's coming, who's going to do it, what he's going to do, what it's going to lead to, and it's up to you whether or not, as it says in Joshua, choose ye this day. Who you going to serve? I lay before you life and death, right? From the beginning, we're saying that the song has been sung. So if you don't want to hearken to the voice, you don't want to listen to the lyrics, there's nothing you can do. That's why Yahweh said it. What shall I like the generation of two? I lamented, you didn't mourn, piped, you ain't dance. So we're just going to close up shop. We're going to take our instruments, we're like, you know what, it was good. And that's it. And that's why it says that then which shall hide itself in her secret chambers. And at that point, that's when you're going to be looking for answers, but there ain't going to be none at that point because we don't even give you the answers. I think that was it on that. You know, so hey, we're going to close it out with that. Lord willing, just edifying to the elect, giving all praises, honor, and glory to. So next time, shalom to the elect. That's it.